Welcome to the second half of our third annual Career Connect Day presented by BioTalent Canada. I hope that you've enjoyed the session so far and are taking the opportunity to make valuable connections. I would like to once again acknowledge that I'm joining you today from within the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. I'd like to acknowledge that our speakers today are joining us from other unceded territories from across this beautiful province and country. We're thrilled to have you join us today to learn about opportunities within the BC life sciences sector and to be able to connect with people. There were over 832 registrants in attendance from across the globe. We have people, of course, from Canada and the United States, Belgium, France, Germany, India, Iran, Ireland, Italy, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Poland, Switzerland, Thailand, Turkey, the United Kingdom, and United Arab Emirates. So today is a great time to make truly global connections. Before we get started, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our sponsors and partners again. This event would not be possible without their support. Our presenting sponsor, BioTalent Canada, our event sponsors, Admari Bioinnovations and Chinook Therapeutics, our session sponsors, Stem Cell Technologies, speaker sponsors, Evonik and Cardium, networking sponsors, Aurinia Pharmaceuticals and the Canadian Alliance for Skills and Training in Life Sciences, technology sponsors, Abcelera and Xenon, event supporters, Clinical Trials BC, Michael Smith Health Research BC, Northeastern University Toronto Campus, Life Labs, Thrive Health, and Zymeworks. In addition to those companies, we have exhibitors here as well that are in the expo. They are Amgen, Aspect Biosystems, Capilano University, Innovate BC, Interior and Northern Work Integrated Learning, Jersey's Corner, New Beta Innovation Canada, MyTex, Pharma Inventor Inc., Venture for Canada, Verogen Biotech, and also Zymeworks. Thank you all for being here. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to showcase the breadth of careers and academic institutions and research institutions and industry that exists within our ecosystem. This next session is really one of my favorite sessions of this entire event, and it's one of the reasons that we kicked off this event, and that was to learn about people's careers in life sciences. There is an endless amount of stories and journeys that people have taken that are all very, very interesting of how they've ended up where they are today. And so, like every year, we've handpicked 5 people that are going to share their journeys with us. So our first speaker on the theme of careers in life sciences is Sue Evans. Sue is the Vice President of Regulatory Affairs at Aurinia Pharmaceuticals, and I will turn the virtual stage over to you, Sue.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. I will share my screen. And hopefully you can all see that.
Yeah, it's great.
Great, thank you. That was the first test. Okay, so thank you very much for having me. My name is Sue Evans, and I'm the VP of Regulatory Affairs at Aurinia Pharmaceuticals, and I've been with them since 2014. The first couple of slides of my presentation, I'll take you through my career journey, and then I'll touch on Aurinia if you're not familiar with us and where we're at as a company. Okay. So as you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not from Canada, I'm from the UK, and I studied there at Loughborough University for 4 years with a chemistry degree. I also got a diploma in industrial studies, which is like a year out during my third year. My first role was as an analytical chemist in 3M drug delivery systems based in Loughborough. And over the next 15 years, I worked my way through a variety of roles through to global program manager and led large teams to secure European and US approvals for Alvesco and Dulera. So through that work, I worked with clients from the US, Japan, Germany, and Switzerland. So it was a really multicultural experience. I really enjoyed my time there. I then moved to Vectura for a couple of years, and that's a much smaller specialty pharmaceutical company, still specializing in metered dose inhalers for asthma and COPD, but this time it was branded generics work, which was a very different setup to what I'd experienced up until that point. So it was still really very interesting. Unfortunately, after 2 years there, Vectura decided that they were going to close the site that I worked at, and they offered everybody relocation to 2 other sites. And at that time, me and my family were not really wanting to move to another part of the country. So we decided to really blow it all and move to Canada. So I went back to school and studied for my MBA at Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo, and worked hard on that to get my MBA, and then looked for work after that. And we did all of this without any financial help or even a job secured. So our friends back in the UK thought we were either mad or brave, but I don't look back, and I'm really pleased that we threw caution to the wind and decided to do that. So that MBA really secured us a study permit to be able to stay in Canada for a few years and try and find work. For a couple of years there, I worked in healthcare-related industry, companies like Island Health, Seeker Solutions, and Starfish Medical, before I secured a role at Aurinia Pharmaceuticals when they were first starting out in 2014. And at that point, I managed to secure permanent residency in Canada as well. So that was a really pivotal year for me and my family to stay in Canada. And when I joined Aurinia, there was less than 10 staff at the time, and we were working on our first trial for lupus nephritis, phase 2, the AURA-LV study. And over the past 7 years, the company has grown to support the development and the submission of LUPKYNIS. We've added a large amount of commercial staff from mid-2019 onwards, including a large sales team of over 100 people to support the LUPKYNIS launch, which is in effect still going on, although tomorrow is our 1-year anniversary since we had the FDA approval. So lots of celebrations happening within the company. Alongside my growth, the company growth, my department also needed to grow to support the ongoing clinical trials, any post-approval commitments we had with FDA, and any changes we wanted to make. We also needed to support advertising and promotion for LUPKYNIS in the launch year, and then also to support the early stage development of our variety of new projects that are coming along. So then I thought it would probably be useful to give you a little bit of background into Aurinia and where we've come from and where we're going. So Aurinia started in 2013, and it came from a merger of Isotechnica and Aurinia, which had started very, very small. And as you can see from the start of Aurinia, it's always been about evaluating the efficacy of voclosporin as a treatment for lupus nephritis. In 2014, we enrolled our first patient into the AURA-LV study. And if you take it all the way through, you can see that in 2019, we secured positive results from a phase 3 study, the Aurora study, which enabled us then to finish compiling the NDA submission. So we had 2 pivotal studies successful in lupus nephritis. So the NDA, with the team, we put the submission in May 2020, and we secured approval in January 2021, and the product has been launched over the past year. So that was how we've gotten to where we are today. So this next slide shows you where we're going to for the next couple of years. For this year, we're going to be starting our global pediatric study plan with the first study, which is an adolescent study in ages 12 to 17. And it's a global study with about 14 countries. And so that one will take a while. Recruiting for adolescents will be a challenge. And so we anticipate that to be several years. In addition, we have a US-based registry study. It's a prospective observational study of longitudinal data that we're going to gather over many years, and there'll be about 75 sites in the US. And finally, the highlight from a regulatory perspective, which is my area of expertise, is working with our partner Otsuka to gain our EMA approval for LUPKYNIS, which we're anticipating in Q3. We'll also, at the same time, be looking at approval for the UK and Switzerland as well. So exciting year ahead for us in 2022. Last year, we acquired 2 new assets, AUR 200 and AUR 300. So in addition, through 2022, we will be supporting our development colleagues to put in place an IND for each of those. And that will probably be towards the end of this year, early next year. And so that's another part of the work that we do in the regulatory department. So you might be wondering where we're based. Well, I'm actually situated in the Victoria office, and that's our corporate headquarters. We do have quite a few other staff that are based in Vancouver, and they come across periodically. We have a small office in Edmonton that houses our finance group and some of our legal team. And then we have a large office again over on the east coast of the US, which has come into place since we were preparing for our LUPKYNIS launch, based in Rockville, Maryland. And you'll see the purple there is the UK, and we have several people working in the UK from our clinical sciences, clinical development area. We also have consultants in the Netherlands and Australia. So we're quite a virtual team, and we always have been. And so COVID didn't really phase us at all as a company, because that's kind of how we've always worked, remotely, and it worked really well for us as a company. And in fact, because of COVID, we managed to all focus on our work because we couldn't go anywhere, and we managed to get our NDA submitted 3 weeks early. So there are some positives to come out of this global pandemic. So just to summarize then, so Aurinia is poised for continued growth and success. The mission remains to develop and deliver therapies that change the course of autoimmune disease. We have an experienced leadership team, a best-in-class commercial asset, a globalization strategy, partnering with Otsuka for Europe and Japan. And now we have a diversified pipeline built with strong science, which complements our capabilities. And I think that was my final slide. There we go. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sue. Super interesting. For people that have questions for Sue or want to connect with Sue, please feel free to reach out to her either through the Q&A and chat here or directly through the platform. Our next speaker is Dr. Shen Lai, Senior Scientist of Biology at Chinook Therapeutics.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, and thanks everyone for having me. I'm just trying to share my slide. Do you guys see it now?
Yep, that's perfect.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. It's my pleasure to share with everybody here a little bit about my career in life sciences. I'm currently a senior scientist in biology at the R&D side of Chinook Therapeutics here in Vancouver. So let me move it. All right. So actually, I feel compared to a lot of people, my career path has been a relatively straightforward one. So, but I still call it, I had a few failed attempts to actually move away from the bench. And I'm glad that these attempts did fail. So I grew up in China, and went to university in the capital city, Beijing, the Peking University, and did my bachelor's. Growing up, I always know my passion would be in life sciences, knowing about how disease actually happened, and then how to develop therapeutics to help patients. But around the years I was in undergrad, I think that's the time when bioinformatics started to emerge. And I felt that's being super cool. So I actually did quite a bit of courses and learnings about math and computer sciences and coding to get involved into the bioinformatics field. But what I found is what the data that was emerging out of all the analysis was super cool, but the coding part itself was not, at least to myself. So that's my first failed attempt before I moved to advanced degree here in Vancouver at UBC. And here I actually had a very unique opportunity with my PhD mentor, Dr. Steve Pawlik, who is also a local co-founder and president of a biotech company called Connexus. So I actually had my PhD with the company lab in exactly the same location. So I had my first industrial exposure, learning and seeing every day how a team in the industry lab collaborate together to actually bring the technology or solutions to academic researchers and pharmaceutical companies. So that was quite fascinating to me. Actually sort of changed my plan to stay in academia and going back to China, becoming a professor because of that. And also because I actually fell in love with Pacific Northwest and BC. So I just decided to stay. And after my PhD, because of my determination to enter industry and a great opportunity here locally at another biotech called Signalchem Life Sciences. So I just jumped direct in and worked there for a bit over 5 years on small molecule drug discovery for oncology and immuno-oncology. And actually, quite interestingly, Signalchem has different divisions, also including products, reagents, and contract research work. So I sort of have the opportunity to explore a lot of things. That's another failed attempt. But I did learn a lot about product development, business development, regulatory, and also QC, QA, all those potential aspects for a PhD scientist to be able to move into in the industry. But eventually I felt lab is still my thing. I wanted to stay close to the science and technology. That's when I found Chinook when they started about 2-3 years ago, focusing on precision medicine in chronic kidney diseases. And now I'm here for about 1.5 years so far, enjoying the work environment and pace here. I'm doing research to develop therapeutics, but not always beside a bench. So I'm also learning a lot of the other aspect of drug discovery, which I'll tell you more about in a few minutes. But before that, what I wanted to share is my personal understanding about academia and industry. Hopefully it's going to be helpful for you. You can see I'm very brief in terms of the academia part because I know a lot of you know better than I do with all the excitement from novel discovery and also personal success, the ability to be independent and more flexible and keep your steady pace and be like having the goal or your achievement in the long term. But yeah, I guess I don't need to tell you more about the pressure for funding and tenure and responsibilities like admin and mentorship. But for industry, what I felt, if you are someone who actually thrive in a team and goal-oriented environment, this could be a really rewarding experience for you, knowing that what you're doing, especially in drug discovery, is directly impacting patients' life. And there is, as I mentioned, tons of different growth paths and opportunities you can explore. But yeah, there is also definitely at the same time fast-paced environment with deadlines and a lot of more soft skills required from what I understand now, like advancing your career requires a lot of the leadership communication skills, making tough decisions, and always balancing the priorities at all time. So one thing I found particularly interesting for academia versus industry I wanted to share is for academia, if you're really interested in digging deeper into some scientific matters or technical matters, your expertise got to build deeper and deeper as your career advances, versus in industry, you tend to go broader and broader to learn different aspects of it and different stages of it as your career advances, and working with a broad different like groups of people during that journey, which is quite fascinating for me. So just for the last few minutes, I wanted to share about Chinook Therapeutics. So for me, it's been a perfect mix, developing precision medicine for kidney diseases for patients. So I get to stay close to the science and the technology, applying that to really address the medical needs in this field. And also having this such an innovative, energetic, and collaborative environment here with a group of super driven scientists, and learning and about all the different aspects and with all the growth opportunity. And last but not the least, like the great culture here, always love to share all those charts we put together as a company when we started Chinook Therapeutics. And also, so the last thing is a little suggestions from myself. So I think just to identify where your strengths are you like an independent worker, or you're more like a team worker type of thing, what you're really passionate about. And the most important thing is never too early or too late to start explore different possibilities and engage people. That's what is so amazing about this event. So I guess this is my last slide, just a little bit about our company. Feel free to visit our booth or reach directly out to me and a few others on our booth. And we have 2 current positions open for the research team and a lot more outside of research. Just feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Great presentation, and nice how you dissected the 2 different career paths. Sort of lots of food for thought for that. So hopefully everyone, as Chen said, please reach out to her and the team at Chinook who have a booth here. Our next speaker is, I'd like to introduce Dr. Marie Mccutchen, who's the Vice President of Corporate Development at Admari. Marie, over to you.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to be here. Congratulations to you and the whole Life Sciences BC team for the great event today. When you get to a certain age and have a few gray hairs, or more than a few in my case, you do find yourself sitting on more and more panels such as these. And I find it is tempting to look back and find a coherent thread through your life journey. I try my best not to fall into this trap. I know that it's hard to find your path, and I remember what it was like. Sometimes you don't know what you want to do. Other times you know, but you're not sure how you get there or whether you can. It can be overwhelming at times. So let me start by saying I took a rather unusual journey into the life sciences and to my current role leading corporate development at Admari. So I thought I would take the opportunity to share a few insights today, some guiding principles which I found valuable as I reflect on my path to date. So at the outset, I will admit I spent a long time in university, well into the double digits of years. And while I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for everyone, I loved it. So throughout my university education, I was driven more by curiosity and by learning and by finding opportunities to challenge myself. Along the way, I was never driven by what the job at the end of the day was or what the vocation was. I started out in physics, and I went as far as a postdoc in that discipline. Quantum optics was my specialty, if you're wondering. And if you'd asked me what I wanted to be at the time, I probably would have said a professor. Now, looking back, seeing where I am now, I wouldn't change a thing. I think there are many roads to take in life, and there's no right answer. I would say what worked for me and what I would advise is to spend time on things that excite you, that feed your passion, that you're going to work hard on and get engaged. That's what leads to opportunity and what will sustain you and ultimately lead to success. As I neared the end of my PhD, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. but I realized I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I was in Vancouver at the time. I'd spent many years here at UBC, and I realized that I had to stretch myself and explore further afield. At the same time, I had this growing sense that I would not be fulfilled in academia. I wanted to be more entrepreneurial, to translate research into something tangible in the world and to have an impact. And the ecosystem I zeroed in on was in Boston. I knew this was a cauldron of great universities, of entrepreneurs. There were many large anchor companies there and investors. And I was fortunate to find a postdoc opportunity there in the School of Engineering at Harvard. I was able to use this time in my career. I was in my early 30s at the time, late 20s, early 30s, to get involved in a very deliberate sense in the tech ecosystem in Boston. I took a new ventures course at MIT. I found a team to get involved in business plan competitions together. I started doing some consulting on the side, and I was really quite intentional about building a bridge to my next step. And based on these activities, I landed a role at a tech strategy firm as a consultant working on emerging technologies and taking new technologies into the market. I think about this as my real world MBA, if you will. Now, from there, I wasn't sure, again, what I wanted to do, but I had a sense that I wanted to get involved in a small company and help build something, help grow, take something new into the world for the betterment of and to have impact. And as a consultant, you're always giving advice, but you're never actually implementing it. So I realized I needed something additionally. And I found that in the tech transfer world. I cut my teeth in business development by working in the licensing office. It's called the Office of Technology Development at Harvard. And I was learning there to negotiate license agreements, manage intellectual property, understand how to launch new ventures or startups out of a university environment. So when I reflect on that, I think what I take away is getting out of my comfort zone, seeking peers in an environment where I could be inspired and challenged, and to trust my instincts. I had a gut sense that I needed to transition away from the academic field and away from my comfort zone in Vancouver and into a new area where I could stretch myself. Now, by this time, I had a young family. My wife and I decided that we wanted to return to Canada and raise our children in Canada. And from a personal standpoint, I felt a great sense of responsibility to help come back and contribute to new technology innovation in Canada. So one of the things I found spending almost a decade in Boston is that I had the opportunity to sit on many roundtables and panels, and it was truly remarkable how many Canadians I met doing great things. Academic leaders, successful entrepreneurs, company CEOs, investors. And it made me realize what a great foundational and training environment we have in Canada, and how we need to actually help catalyze the next step in Canada to help bring some of those great Canadians back and grow our community and our ecosystem here. And that's what I committed to doing. And so I started seeking opportunities in Canada that would take advantage of what I had learned on my journey to date, and to find great people to work with and help build something. And I was fortunate to find that opportunity in Accelera, which at the time was a 15-person startup in a university lab at UBC. So I moved my family and my two young kids from the East Coast of the US back to Vancouver and BC 6 years ago. The last thought I'll leave you with is an insight that I've had, and actually Shen alluded to this in her remarks. Don't underestimate the value of intangible, softer people skills. Along my academic journey, I had the opportunity to do a Bachelor of Arts in philosophy, politics, and economics. It was a formational experience, and it's taken me time to appreciate its value. But let me try to articulate some of the reasons I think this is important. Communication. This communication skills will help you progress in your career no matter what stage you're at. And it only becomes more important the further you progress. The ability to write effectively and persuasively, the ability to think logically and form cogent arguments. All of these things, you don't have to do a BA to do these things, but I would encourage you to read widely and to broaden your horizons and knowledge base. And don't get too locked into the narrow skills which you think are applicable in your career. So my journey is ongoing. I continue to be challenged and inspired. And at Upsellera, we have developed a culture that reflects many of the values that I hold dear personally. We hire for character, for passion, people who are willing to stretch and explore. We continue to grow quickly, and we have many open positions in the data sciences, in life sciences, and across business support and administrative functions. I would encourage you to look at our careers page and also to come to our virtual booth here at the event today, where you can talk to some of my peers who can help give you more information. So with that, I'll just leave you with a quick summary of my takeaways, which are, find your passion, recognizing that this will evolve. Get out of your comfort zone, seek peers who will inspire and challenge you, trust your instincts, and don't lose sight of the intangible skills in communication, in writing, and in being able to think logically. These will serve you very well. Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure to be in attendance at this event.
Thanks, Marie. Really great talk, and some really tangible messages, as you've had, a very interesting journey and are certainly in a very interesting role right now. I think one of the themes is, as we encourage people to find their passion, I think having university students of my own as children, they sometimes feel like there's a pressure that they need to know it. And I think what you just described is you find it along the way, because you need to try things to find out where that's going to lead you. You're not going to find your passion by just sitting still. And very few people know what they want to do right off the bat. And they have a journey that takes them into various places. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. And our next speaker is going to be Jennifer Su, Senior Research Associate from Evonik. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Wendy. I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So, hi, everyone. My name is Jen. Born and raised in Vancouver, I completed my undergrad in biochemistry at the University of British Columbia. I have been working in industry since post-graduation for about 6-7 years now. Currently, I'm a senior research associate at Evonik in the formulation and process development department, working on lipid nanoparticle and liposomal-based development for therapeutic agents and developing the manufacturing processes of those formulations for preclinical and clinical use. So how did I get to where I am today? Looking back, I believe there were 2 key moments during my undergrad that really helped define my career path. The first being that I really enjoyed the lab courses that I took, and I was good at working with my hands. So I knew pretty early on that I wanted to pursue a career working in the lab. The second was, by the time graduation came around, I was just eager to jump into the field and apply what I've learned from my studies. So I made the decision to work in industry rather than stay in academia. After graduation, when I first started my job search, truthfully, it was challenging getting a job that I wanted. I only have a bachelor's, so it was hard to compete with those with a higher education than me. And being a new grad, it was hard to compete with those with more work experience than I had. Eventually, I was able to secure my first job at a university. Was it the job that I had always envisioned for myself? Not exactly. I had always known that I wanted to do more challenging R&D type of work, but I don't regret that decision at all, because having developed my basic lab skills and built up my work experience from my first job, I was able to land my second job doing R&D at a biotech company. And getting that exposure to R&D was very important, because I came to the realization that, yeah, I liked R&D. I wanted to continue doing R&D. And if anything, I wanted to try and do more complex and innovative R&D. Now, having further built up my work experience in R&D, I think that gave me an advantage, and I was able to land my job at Evonik 4 years ago. That was a huge personal achievement, because I remember as a student, I saw a job posting by Evonik and I thought, wow, this job sounds so cool. I really want this job, but I'm nowhere qualified. And truth be told, I actually applied for the job and did not get the job then. So it kind of feels like I've come, yeah, I had some challenges and I had some changes to before I got to where I am today. But that's okay, because eventually I got to where I wanted to be. Anyways, as you can see from my personal journey, I did not take the grad school route. And instead, I decided to go straight into working in industry. And although it was difficult to be competitive in the job market with limited training initially, I was able to obtain valuable on-the-job training and skills through actually working in industry. I look forward to seeing where my path will take me, and I look forward to just learning as much as I can as I continue pursuing my career in life sciences. And learning, that's one of the things I like most about my job at Evonik. At Evonik, I have the opportunity to work with various pharmaceutical and biotech clients around the world. And in the formulation process development department, I get to work on projects from early stage formulation development to scale up process development and even manufacturing. In addition to the depth and breadth of learning that Evonik has to offer, I personally find it super exciting to be working in a field where I get to see firsthand the application of what I do change people's lives. And that concludes my talk. If you're interested in learning more about what I do at Evonik, about Evonik in general, or if you just love to chat with me, I would love to connect with you. I'll leave my contact information in the chat. And I want to thank you for your time and attention.
Thanks, Jennifer. Great discussion. Evonik has long historical roots in BC as a BC SME that then joined the Evonik family. So certainly encourage everyone to chat with you both about your career, but also Evonik. Our next speaker is Erin Stashen. She's the director of the Admari Academy at Admari Bioinnovations. And Erin's going to talk to us a little bit about her career, but spend most of the time talking about the Admari Academy, which is playing a very important role in talent development, both scientific talent development, research development, and leadership. So Erin, I'll not take your thunder and turn it over to you now.
Thank you so much. I can still see Jennifer's screen. Are you able to see me nonetheless?
I can see you, and
okay, perfect.
Why don't you try and share, and we'll see whether
there we go.
Jennifer's screen's gone now. Okay.
I've actually opted not to use slides today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we have about 5 minutes together, and I have 3 very important topics to share with you in that time. So let's just dive in.
Okay, you probably have up to 10 if you need it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. So that allows me to say thank you so much to Life Sciences BC, the team at Life Sciences BC, and BioTalent for including Admari Bioinnovations in this incredible event. Admittedly, it's my first time attending. I'm relatively new to Admari Bioinnovations, and I will be attending every year. I found it so powerful, so enriching what I heard from the sessions I was able to attend. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to start off by saying, unlike Donald Trump, I do not like to speak off the cuff without any notes. I'm a little bit more like Justin Trudeau. I like to refer to a few notes that I've jotted down. I have them in front of me, and it should serve to keep me on track. So let's dive right in. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my big pharma and small biotech commercial career. I want to urge you to check out Admari Bioinnovations as an organization, follow us on LinkedIn, visit our booth. But mostly, I also want to encourage you to sign up for the Admari community. If you're not sure what that is, just conduct a Google search, Admari Bioinnovations community. It'll probably come up as the first hit. It's a wonderful online resource, completely free, moderated by my colleague, Jennifer Lee, in our communications department. And what will you find in the Admari community? You will find job postings. You will find profiles from people such as yourselves, all the way up to CEOs and biotech leaders. Take a few risks, develop your profile, look at other people's profiles. You may be surprised to see fun little banners on top of people's profile pictures. And the banner may just say, willing to help. Imagine if you find the company you want to work for, or a researcher in your field who's been very successful, and in addition, it says willing to help, send them a private message. So feel free now or right after this session to open up a profile. Our colleague is very responsive. Allow her a little bit of time. She's on the West Coast. Some of us are on the East Coast. But as soon as she can get you enrolled, you'll have full access to the wonderful Admari community. So so starting off very quickly, my own career is a bit unique, I think, from what I've been hearing today. I've worked in the pharma and biotech industry my entire career. I was never a bench scientist, though. I do have a bachelor's of science in life sciences, but after university, much like some of you, I felt a little wayward. What am I supposed to do with this degree? I chose something enjoyable and very general. Can I make a career out of this very enjoyable and general life science education? I was lucky. I got hired almost immediately by Pfizer's head office here in Montreal, where I live and work. And I discovered the post-launch phase, the sales, marketing, and medical affairs phase of our wonderful pharmaceutical and biotech and life sciences industry. So if you have any questions about going more on the later portion of the employment spectrum, the sales, the marketing, the medical affairs part of our career opportunity spectrum, then feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or here on the platform. For the next 30 days. We'll be checking any messages we receive. So what can I tell you? I think I should dive in now. And let me think. So I've told you that I had a very unique career, not in research, more in sales, marketing, and medical affairs. If that intrigues you, if you're interested in medical communications or medical education to physicians and healthcare providers, I've done it all. I've done it as an employee. I did it as a freelance consultant. I did it as a small boutique agency owner as well. So if anything I just said resonates with you, let's connect and we can talk about it. That's what we do in the Admari Academy, which brings me to my next topic, my favorite topic, really. What is Admari Bioinnovations and what does the Academy do? So first of all, Admari Bioinnovations, our vision is Canadian life sciences leading the world. Boy, oh boy, when I joined 8 months ago, I had no clue that there was this national organization working to build up companies, the ecosystem, the community from coast to coast, as well as talent for our Canadian life sciences industry. I think we can all agree the pandemic has shed some light on a few little cracks in our, access to vaccines and distribution and biomanufacturing and the biotech industry in general. How valuable is it for us to have our own homegrown biotech industry? So here at Admari, our mission is threefold. We build companies. We literally help companies build themselves up, grow with our internal expertise, our investment capital, and our mentorship. The second thing we do here at Admari Bioinnovations is we build the ecosystem. So I won't go into great detail. I've already told you to join our online ecosystem. We call it the Admari community. We have a campus in Vancouver where people can, reach out to fellow researchers and bump into innovators. We have a campus here in Montreal where I'm located. Same thing. I was standing in line for a coffee in our small cafeteria when I was first hired, and oh my gosh, I'm bumping into career scientists, people who have discovered, world-renowned medications, and they're now working at Admari. So we build the ecosystem with some very interesting people who are very willing to help build your career and empower you to advance. Now, speaking of building and empowering your career, the third thing we do around here at Admari Bioinnovations is we build talent. And that's what my team in the Academy is responsible for. Check us out on the website. Go to the Academy portion of the Admari Bioinnovations website, and you will find there a description of at least 4 learning programs that you can explore, figure out which one you're eligible for. Let me start with the Bioinnovation Scientist program. We like to call it the BIS program. Currently offering level 1 to permanent residents of Canada, Canadian citizens, anyone who's currently studying in a graduate program, a life science graduate program at a recognized university here in Canada. In the Bioinnovation Scientist program, we empower people to understand the acumen required or the skills required for drug discovery. So drug discovery, drug development, and drug commercialization. If you're curious about any of those, then you may want to sign up. You may want to apply and sign up for our BIS program. We also have a component in the BIS program for soft skills. I heard that earlier today. I think it was in session 2, where the panelists were really encouraging people to up their, soft skills, their presentation skills, their communication skills, their critical thinking, their project management skills. We address all of this in the BIS. So you get a little bit of biotech acumen and you get a little bit of soft skills training. And by the end of it, you should be feeling very empowered and very confident about pursuing a new career in the biotech industry. The second program we offer is a co-op program. Much like many universities have co-op programs. We love to receive co-op students, so check out our website if you find yourself in an undergraduate program and you'd like to see what it's like to be a commercial scientist or a technician, a bench scientist. We have job postings for co-op students on our website in the careers section. The third program that we have here is the fellowship program, specifically for postdoctoral fellows. Again, those job postings are on our website. Check it out. Some are in Vancouver. Some are here in Montreal, where I am, of course. I keep saying that because if you reach out to me in the next few hours, I may be at another event on the East Coast. So I just want you to know that I'm not necessarily in your time zone. So that's 3 out of our 4 programs. And our 4th program happens to be the Admari Executive Institute. So at some point in your business biotech career, you may find yourself leading a biotech company. Wouldn't that be nice for Canada? We need executives in Canada. We need more talent to fill executive roles. And thanks to very generous sponsorship from Pfizer Canada, we have an executive institute. And by the way, all these programs are offered for free. BIS is offered for free if you qualify and you're eligible. Executive Institute, if you are admitted into the Executive Institute, free. It's valued at $20,000. And let me tell you, the current cohort of executives who are in there right now, they are really enjoying the curriculum, the networking, and the imparted skills that they walk away with as a result of our 8-month curriculum. So I think I've covered it. Now that we also have a very new alliance with Castle on the East Coast, like literally on the East Coast in PEI. And that's for biomanufacturing training. I have colleagues here. I think they're here, Patrick Daou and Penny. So you could certainly reach out and talk to them about developing your, your leads in biomanufacturing. So I think, Wendy, that's about it. I said I would check my notes, but I kind of did the academy portion off the top of my head. Just reach out by LinkedIn to any one of us. Join the Admari community. It's probably the best place to find all of the people that might help your career to grow and to advance. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erin. Your passion is very clearly coming through. So thank you very much. And thank you. It's a little bit later for you in the day. So great to provide that excellent overview. And as you say, Admari is an event sponsor of Career Connect Day, and they have a booth which is being manned. Some of your colleagues have been putting stuff in the chat. So please, everybody, reach out to learn about the amazing programs that they have.
Thanks for that.
And we at LSBC very much appreciate our ongoing partnership with Admari. We work together on a number of initiatives to help advance the ecosystem and attract talent, develop talent, and it's as you've heard today, one of our most important things that we really need to continue to focus on, and clearly the biggest asset of our sector, as you've heard from many of the leaders. So I'm going to wrap up this session now. Thank you to Erin and Sue, Shen, Murray, and Jennifer. We really appreciate you sharing your stories with us. It's always great to learn about people's careers and get people's different perspectives of things to think about, as regardless of wherever you are in your career, we always have opportunities to learn. I've been asked to, again, remind everybody to enjoy the gamification component of this platform, where you get points for every interaction that you have, boosts that you connect to, meetings that you set up and download. So as of about 45 minutes ago, our leaderboard had 3 top people: Sane, Sathe, and Zealand. So I don't know if they're still the top 3, but please continue to take advantage of the opportunities. I think we've mentioned it already. This platform will be open for 30 days, so you can continue to connect over the next 30 days and view any of the sessions that you happen to have missed today. We're now going to take about a 5-minute break before we move to our last and final session, which is what we're referring to as a talent reverse pitch. So you'll hear some companies talking about what their companies do, what the opportunities are, and why you would be interested in potentially joining their team now or in the future. So come back in about 5 minutes, and we look forward to seeing you then.